So it's time to get started. We have a lot of work to do, so we're just going to get straight to it. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a scene here, and we have a start scene that we're going to start off with. I'm going to open that one up. And if you remember from volume 1 of this training series, in volume 1 we created this house here. The only difference is that we had deleted the actual window panes right here. If you see right here, you have these sort of window panes. We actually deleted those in a previous one, so it'll be good to start off with this scene that comes with the tutorial, just so you're at the same starting point as me. Okay, so what we have here is the house that we built before. We're going to build on this, and we're going to get going on here. What I want to do is build the baseboards right now for the house. Okay, I'm going to pull up, I'm going to go to view image file here from the rendering menu. Let me just go to scene assets, images. This is where I keep all my images here. And I'm going to look up my, I just have different categories of images for things here. And I'm going to look at the Moldings folder. And I got some thumbnails here. I'm going to open a couple of these. These are baseboards, and let me open up a couple of images here actually. Let me open up another one. Go with this one here. So the baseboards are these bottom baseboards here that they just visually connect the floor with the wall. They don't actually serve a structural purpose. They don't actually keep the wall from falling down or anything. They're just there sort of for decoration. It's a pretty common thing to see in houses and in most modern houses. Okay, so those are the baseboards, and that's what we're going to create right now in this video for our house. Okay, because we don't have any type of details like that. Now these are images that I just got off of Google. For copyright reasons, I can't just distribute these images freely. They're not originally mine to begin with, but I'm just going to use them as visual reference for modeling and things like that. So one important thing that all professional 3D modelers do before they even get started on anything, they do research and they collect as much reference material as possible that's associated with the subject that they're going to be modeling. So if you're going to model a character, you want to get as much character reference images as you can. Say if you're going to model a face of a person, you want to go ahead and gather as much photographic reference and materials as you can, maybe some reference on anatomy and things like that. In this case, we're building different objects for our house, in this case the baseboards. So I got myself some images off of Google, doing a search. So take some time, do some research, and gather some material together. Again, unfortunately I can't just distribute this stuff for copyright reasons, but if you just go on Google and do a search for baseboards, you'll find all of these images and a lot more, trust me. Okay, so you can see what the baseboards are like. They come in all kinds of different kind of looks here, different styles. So I'm just looking at this for reference. I'm going to make up my own style, but I'm just using this kind of as a rough guide. Okay, so you can see here the different styles. After I have a look at this and have a better understanding of how this is to be built, I'll just zoom into this real quick. And you can see how the baseboards are. They're kind of flattened in on the top edge. They have a little bit of detail. I'm going to create my own. I'm just going to randomly create my own and go from there. Okay, so I see how this has to be made. So now that I have a good idea after studying my reference material, it's time to actually build it. Now, at the moment, it's a little bit hard to work simply because of the exterior walls of my house here and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the bottom polygon of my house, and I'm going to grow my selection a couple of times. And after doing that, let me actually get the ceiling up here. And actually, I could probably grow my selection one more time. Let me go inside the house here. And I don't want to hide these polygons right here. Okay, the rest are okay to hide. I don't want to hide this one either. Okay. So if all those other polygons selected, what I'm going to do is go up to visibility, and I'm going to hide selected. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the quad menu, go to object properties, and I'm going to go to backface call just so I could see in here a lot better and I can work a lot easier. Okay, I think that's going to be pretty good. Let me go into a front view here, go to wireframe mode. I'm going to turn on my window crossing. And I'm going to turn off ignore backfacing. I'm going to select all these polygons up here. Those. Go back to perspective view. Yeah, all of those polygons I want to hide. So I'll go to visibility and hide selected. I'm not going to go over the basics of what I'm doing because a lot of this hiding, unhiding polygons I covered in the first volume. So we're just going to keep moving along here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here to create the initial piece of my baseboard is going to be pretty easy. I'm going to go to vertex mode and I'm going to go and use the cut tool. I'm going to make a simple cut from this edge over here to this edge over here. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to select the edge. Make sure I have just that edge selected. Okay, very important. I'm going to go to align. I'm going to align this in the z-axis so it flattens it out. So if I go in the front view and I look at this in wireframe, I can see that new edge is perfectly level and straight, which is very important. Don't want to have a crooked edge there for my baseboard or it'll look weird. Then I'm going to take that polygon that's right there, this new polygon that I created. Make sure that's the only polygon you have selected. I'm going to go to geometry and I'm going to go to detach. And in the options, I'm going to tell it to detach as a clone. I'm going to hit OK. And it's basically going to create a new object. And if I try to select it, there it is. It is in fact a new separate object. And my original polygon is intact, which is good. There's no hole in the wall. I'm going to change the color of this so it's easier to see. Doesn't matter what color, just as it contrasts nicely with the blue, so it's very easy to see. I'm going to go to the original house. I'm going to take the edge that I created there, hit Control and Backspace to get rid of it because I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to select my baseboard right there. And we're going to create our baseboard here off of this. Okay? So it's pretty easy here. What we're going to do is basically I'm going to take this edge, I'm going to pull it out to the edge of this little piece of wall right here. So to do that, it's going to be easy. As we did in volume 1, we're going to be using the transform typing tool quite a bit. So I'll select that edge and I'll take the x-axis there, copy its coordinate. I'll go back to the baseboard, take that edge and paste the new x coordinate. There we go. Hold down shift to extrude this out to the side. I'm going to select the edge from here and I want to get its y coordinate. Take the baseboard there, paste that new y coordinate. There we go. Extrude it again. Okay, so you can see it's a pretty simple kind of process here. Very simple technique. It's at 0, so I'll just come in here, select my baseboard down there, take the edge, put the x coordinate at 0, extrude that out, pull it in. I'm not going to pull it into the door frame just yet. I'm going to pull it out a little bit. I can always fix that later. One other important thing that I'm overlooking at the moment is the actual height here of the baseboard. So I'm going to take the top edges here, these edges right here. Okay, so those are all the top edges. And if I look at my transform typing tool, I can see that their Z is located at 10 inches, which is much too high for a baseboard. From what I saw in my images, it's going to be something like about maybe 4 inches or something like that. It's going to look good. That's a little bit short. Maybe I'll go with 5 inches. And you can make this whatever you want, whatever looks good to you. I'm going to go for about 5 inches for the height of the baseboard. Okay? Alright, so that's fine. I'm going to take that edge in the back corner there, extrude that out this way. And it's just a little bit more of the same. Take that edge there, get its y coordinate, copy that. Paste the y coordinate there for the baseboard right there. Hold down shift and extrude this, pull it out. And it's just more of the same stuff. I'm going to take that x coordinate, copy that. Put that there. take that Y coordinate, copy that. And we did plenty of this in volume 1. So if you're coming from volume 1, this should be extremely familiar to you. I'm going to pull that to about right there. Take the X coordinate, paste it there, there we go. Extrude this out like so. And I'm just following the wall here. And this is just one technique for doing this. There's actually a few techniques we can use for doing this. I'm going to show you a different one in a moment. That's actually going to work out a lot faster than this, but I just want to show you different ways of doing the same thing. The more techniques that you know, the better you're going to be when you're modeling 3D objects. It's always good to know a bunch of tricks, have a bunch of tricks up your sleeve, have a huge repertoire of techniques. At this point, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to have it continue in this little strip of wall, because if we were to do that, when we extrude this out, it's going to clip into the door, which is obviously going to look wrong. So we're going to end our baseboard right there. Okay? Now I'm not going to continue going with the baseboard all around the bottom of the house. As you can see, we still have more walls to go, but I'm not going to do those just yet. At this point, I'm going to say I'm happy for the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this edge that's right there. Okay? Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select the ring. So I'm going to select the ring of edges. And once I do that, I'm going to make a connection here. I'm going to connect this. I'm using old options here. I'm going to connect this about, let's see, I think about 40 is good. I want to go a little bit past the halfway point, so I'm going to leave it at 40. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to select all the polygons, Control A to do that quickly, and I'm going to go to the extrude options. Okay. Now the default options here is trying to use are totally wrong. As you can see, it totally messed up the baseboard. So the extrusion type we want to go by is not group, because you can see it messes it up, or polygon, that messes it up too. We want to go by local normal. Alright? But the amount is too much at the moment. So let's go by small amount. As you can see here, once I decrease this amount, we can get something that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go with about let's see, 0.5. No, let's go with about let's try 0.3. 0.3 looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to select the bottom polygon, select that bottom polygon, and then I'm going to go to the graphite modeling tools and select the loop of polygons. So it selects the strip of polygons on the bottom right there, as you can see all around the house that I have so far. Then I'm going to go to the extrude options again, and it's going to use the previous options to extrude. And I'm going to extrude it by about another maybe 0.3, or I might even go as far as 0.5. That's not too bad. I'm going to go with 0.5. That looks good. I'm going to hit OK. Alright? I'm going to go to edge mode, and I'm going to select this edge right there. I'm going to select its loop. And with that loop of edges selected, I'm going to go to the chamfer options. And we want to add plenty of segments, and we want to control the chamfer amount here. As I start to give this some chamfer, you can see we get this nice beveled edge right there, which looks really nice. But I'm going to go ahead and push that further down to about right there. And the more segments we add, the nicer it's going to look, the smoother it's going to look. It'll look too blocky and bad if we do it like this. So I'm going to add anywhere about 12 segments or more will look pretty good. But 12 is pretty good. So I'm going to leave it like that. You can see it's looking pretty nice. Okay. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to select this edge right here in the corner. And what I'm going to do is select that ring of edges. And I'm going to connect that. And I'm going to connect that a couple of times, or maybe 3 times. I'm going to take the slide and put that at 0. And actually, let's connect that 4 times. And let's give it some pinch, a little bit of pinch. I'm not going to go with anything specific. I'm just eyeballing it, so I have a little bit of pinch. I have a couple of strips there of polygons. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select those 2 polygons, and then these 2 on the bottom. So I have those 2 strips of polygons selected right there. And I'm going to select the loop. So it's going to pick the loop of polygons all the way around. This is where the graphite modeling tools come in so useful. Okay? And with those selected, I'm going to do an extrusion, and I'm going to go to the options, and I don't want to extrude them out like this. I want to extrude them inward. So to do that, I'm going to make it extrude negatively. And when I put negative, it's going to push them inside. But right now it's just a little bit too much. So I'm going to pull them out a bit. So I think if we do this to about negative 0.2 maybe. Yeah, negative 0.2 inches is going to look pretty good. So I'll hit OK. And then I'm going to take this top edge up here, select that loop. And with that loop selected, I'm going to go ahead and chamfer that. Alright. And 12 segments is a bit much right there. I'm also going to reduce the amount of chamfer. I don't want it to be too chamfered. But actually that looks pretty good. I'm going to go to about 1 inch. Anything over an inch is going to give you that soft look right there. And I'm going to go with maybe about 8 segments. Looks pretty good. I don't know, maybe I'll reduce that chamfer amount or not. I'm going to leave it like this. This looks pretty good. So I'm going to say I'm happy with that. It's I just came up with this design on the fly. So I'll hit OK, and I'll say I'm happy with that. So the baseboards were done for the entire section of the house that I had already built it for, as you can see, all the way around. And if I do a quick preview render of this, I can see I end up with something pretty interesting. And it really adds a lot to the detail of the house. Really makes it look more finished. Okay, but we have a problem. We don't have baseboards for these little pieces of wall over here in the hallways and for the rest of the first floor. So what to do? Do we build another strip of polygon and redo all this work that we just did and try to remember our chamfer and extrusion settings? No, we don't. I'm going to show you a nice trick for using the work we've already done to quickly and easily create more baseboard pieces, almost like Lego blocks. You're going to see that in the next video. I'm going to end this one here, and in the next one we're going to see what this trick is all about.